In today's story, we are going to hear all about the end of the world. Now, people like to talk about the end times and the apocalypse and Revelation, but what did Jesus have to say about this? Did Jesus have anything to say about this? Do we have to read Revelation and feel confused? Or can we just listen to what Jesus said and totally understand what Revelation is all about? Today we're going to hear the very words of Jesus. As Jesus and his disciples are leaving the temple, the disciples turn around and they look back at the temple and they say, "Wow, this is so amazing. Jesus, did you see how beautiful the temple is? Look at the stones and the gold and everything. It's dazzling. It's amazing. It's the best thing ever." And Jesus says to them, "Do you see this temple and all of the beautiful stones that it's made out of and how pretty it is? I tell you the truth, all of the stones are going to be torn down and it is going to be just a pile of rubble." And the disciples don't really know what to say to that, so they just don't say anything. But they do talk about it among themselves, and later they decide they are going to ask Jesus about it. So Jesus is on the Mount of Olives, so they go up and talk to him and say, "When are these things going to happen? And what will be the sign that you are going to return?" And Jesus says, "Watch out, because there are going to be a lot of people who try to deceive you. They're going to come and they are going to say, 'I am the Christ. Follow me. I have the words of life.' But they're not going to be the real thing. See, this little Antichrist, he doesn't have any eyeballs, but Jesus, the real Christ, he is the only one with eyeballs. Don't listen to them." And there are going to be wars, and there are going to be rumors of wars. And nations are going to rise up against nations and are going to destroy each other and fight against each other. And there are going to be earthquakes. This is like the earth split in half, but that's just my representation of an earthquake. And there is going to be famine. And even when all of these things have come to pass, that's just the beginning. It's like a woman, when it becomes time for her to give birth and she starts having pain, but that's not really the time that the baby is born. That is just the very beginning. They are going to take you, my beloved disciples, and they are going to hand you over to death. And all of the nations on the earth are going to hate you for my name. And at that time, there will be many people who used to follow me, but they are going to turn away, and there's going to be an abundance of wickedness and evil, and people are going to hate each other and betray each other, and they are going to leave me. But there will be some people who stay with me and stand firm until the end, and those people will be saved. And one thing you need to know: the gospel has to be preached to all nations. Every single people group on the face of the planet has to hear about me. And then after that has happened, the end will come. There's going to be a time when you see an abomination that causes desolation, just like the prophet Daniel spoke about. And when you see that, you should flee into the mountains. If you're somebody on the roof of your house and you see this happening, don't go down into your house to get anything before you flee to the mountains. Just flee. And if you are out in the field working as a farmer, don't go back into the city to get anything. Just flee to the mountains. Those are going to be terrible times for women who are pregnant or nursing, and you should pray that this does not happen in the wintertime or on the Sabbath. Now, this guy's supposed to be praying. Maybe you can't tell, but I trust that if you want to retell this story and draw stick figures to tell your friends, I'm sure you could draw a much better praying stick figure than that. During this time when everybody's fleeing to the mountains and this great distress has come, it's going to be more distress than the world has ever seen and anything that will ever happen in the future. But because God loves his people, he knows that if this distress continued forever and it continued to its appointed time, these people would all perish. But God loves these people who he's chosen and who are going to stand firm until the end, and so he has cut those days short so that they will survive. There's going to be people who say to you, "Look, here he is," or "There he is out in the field, come and see." And when you hear these people saying these things, don't listen to them, because they don't have secret knowledge that nobody else is going to understand. When I return, this is what it's going to be like. You know how when the lightning strikes, if it strikes on the west, even if you're here in the east, you can still see the lightning. And that is what it's going to be like when I return. Everyone is going to see me and everybody is going to know. So don't believe people who say that I've come if you haven't seen it, because everybody is going to see it. And the truth is that nobody knows the day or the hour when I'm going to come back. The angels in heaven don't know the day or the hour, and even I do not know the day or the hour, but only my Father who is in heaven knows the day and the hour. So stay on the alert and be on your guard. And in that time, after the great distress, this is what's going to happen. The sun is going to be turned dark, and the moon is going to be turned dark, and all of the stars are going to fall from the sky. All of the stars? Maybe not all of the stars. You should go back and read it for yourself. And the Son of Man will come with all of his power and all of his glory, and he will send his angels ahead of him, and they will come with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather the elect from the ends of the earth and bring them to me. Now let me teach you a lesson from a fig tree. You know, when a fig tree is growing and the leaves start coming out, you know that it is almost time for the figs, and you know that you can wait and expect them soon. So even when you see all of these things that I have told you, when you see those things happening in the world, you can know that the time is soon, just like you know with the fig tree. And all of you, my disciples, and this generation may pass away before these things happen, but my words will never pass away. So you know how I told you that nobody knows the day or the hour? This is what it's going to be like. It's going to be like in the days of Noah, when all of the people were there. They were still eating, drinking, having parties, getting married, all of the things, and they didn't realize that the time was coming. Noah had gone into the ark and was sealed in, and the people were just going on with their lives as though nothing had happened. But the flood came and washed them all away and killed them all. That's what it's going to be like when the Son of Man returns. People are going to be continuing on with their life, and they are not going to realize that I am coming back. There will be two men out in the field working as farmers, and at that time when I come back, one of them is going to be taken and the other is going to be left behind. And there will be two women working in the kitchen, and one of them is going to be taken and the other is going to be left behind. So stay alert and keep watch, because you do not know the day or the hour that these things are going to happen, and you want to be ready. You know, if somebody knew that their house was going to be broken into, they would stay awake and they would wait for the robber to come and call 911 when the time came. So in the same way, you should stay alert and stay awake, because the time is coming. You should be like a faithful servant his master has put him in charge of his house while he goes out on a trip. And he's going to come back from his trip, and he's going to see what his servant has been doing. And it's going to be good for this servant if he's been doing what his master told him while he was gone. Cleaning the kitchen and taking care of the house. But if the master of the house comes back and he finds that his servant is feeding the other servants, he is going to be furious, and that's not going to go well for him. Now, I'm not going to tell you what the Bible says the master is going to do to the servant, because I want this channel to be friendly for children. But if you want to find out, you can go read it for yourself. At that time, it's going to be like a wedding celebration, where everybody has come and they're waiting for the bridegroom so they can enter the house together and celebrate with him. And there were 10 women there, and 5 of these women were foolish women, and 5 of these women were wise women. And when the time comes that the bridegroom has arrived and he's ready to go into the house and celebrate his wedding, and everybody's welcome into the house with him, all of these women are going to pull out their candles, and they're going to trim the wicks, and they're going to put in oil. I guess maybe it was a lamp, not a candle, but I drew a candle. And they're going to put the oil into the lamps, and they're going to get ready to go in and celebrate. And these wise ones, they're going to put the oil in because they brought extra. They were wise. And these foolish women, they did not have any extra oil. So they're going to say to these wise women, hey, could you please share with us a little bit of oil? Like, we're really low. And these wise women are going to say, no way. We don't have enough to give you some and then also have enough for ourselves. Go buy some at the market yourself. Better hurry. So these are going to go to the market to buy oil for their lamps, and these are going to go into the house with the bridegroom. And while these ones are away, the house is going to be shut. And when they come back, they're going to knock on the door. But when the person comes to the door, they're going to say, I don't know who you are. You cannot come in. And so be on your guard, be ready, and keep watch, and be prepared for the day that I come back, Jesus says. Or it's going to be like this. There was a master, and he was getting ready to go on a journey. And he calls his servants to him, and he puts them in charge while he's gone. And he gives each of them something to do and take care of while he's away. So to the one servant, he gives 1 talent. To the other servant, he gives 2 talents. And to the other servant, he gives 5 talents. Now, in the story, it's clear that a talent is like some kind of quantity of money that he's entrusted to these servants. So he gives them this money, and he says, do what you can with this, grow my business. I'm going to be gone for a little while, and I will be coming back and see what you've done with the money that I've given you. So the master goes away on his trip and leaves these guys behind to do their work. And this servant who was given 5 talents, he immediately sets off doing work, and he puts those 5 talents to work and he makes 5 more. So now he has 10 talents. And this servant who has 2 talents, he also goes to work and he puts his 2 talents to work and he gets 2 more talents. So he has 4 talents. And this servant says, you know what? I know that my servant can just he says, I know that my master is like so business savvy that he can just like make money almost out of thin air. Like it's so crazy what he can do. So it doesn't really matter what I do with his 1 talent. But I do want to like make sure to get it back to my master when he returns. So I'm going to go and I'm going to bury this talent in the ground. And then I will know where it is and I can go and get it later when it's time to give it back to my master. So that's what he does. He buries the talent. And when the master returns, he comes to his servants and he calls them together and he says, hey guys, what did you do with the talents that I gave you? And the first servant says, here you go. Here is the 10 talents, the 5 that you gave me, and I made 5 more with them. And the master says, well done. You are a good and faithful servant. Come in and rest with me. And then this servant comes and he brings the 4 talents to the master. And he says, look what I've done. I had 2 talents and I was able to make 2 more talents with them. And the master says, well done. You are a good and faithful servant. Come in and enjoy my rest. And the one servant, he goes to the 1 talent that he'd buried and he goes and he digs it up and he brings it back to the master and he says, master, here is the 1 talent that you gave me. See, I did not lose it. I didn't invest in anything risky while you were gone. I just wanted to make sure to give you back what I owed you, because I know that you're somebody who can like basically make money appear out of thin air, and I didn't think I was going to be able to do as good as you, and so I just really wanted to not lose anything. So anyway, here's this for you, and I hope you're happy. Like, welcome back. And the master says, you are a wicked and a lazy servant. So you knew that I can basically make money come out of thin air, but you didn't trust me to be able to help you with the 1 talent that I'd given you. You need to go away from me forever. You cannot enter my rest or be with me anymore. At the very least, you should have invested my money with the bankers, so there could have been at least a little bit of increase when I returned. And he takes the 1 talent from this servant and he gives it to the servant with 10 talents. And he casts the servant out into the darkness where there is weeping and gnashing of teeth. And Jesus says, when the Son of Man returns with the angels, it's going to be like a king who's sitting on his throne and he has before him all of the people and he separates them. He puts some on the right hand as if they were sheep, and he's going to put the others on the left hand as if they were goats. And he's going to say to the ones on his right, come in and enjoy my Father's presence, because I was hungry and you gave me something to eat, and I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink, and I was naked and you clothed me. And all of these people who are on the right, like the sheep, they're going to say, we don't understand. When did we do these things for you? We didn't ever see you on earth. We did not give you food. We did not give you water. We did not give you clothes. We did not visit you when you were in prison. And Jesus is going to say, just as you did for the very least of the people on the earth, that is what you did for me. And the king's going to say to those on his left hand, the ones that are like the goats, he's going to say, go away from me, because you are wicked and evil people. You saw me and I was hungry, and you did not give me anything to eat. And you saw me and I was thirsty, and you did not give me anything to drink. And you saw me and I was naked, and you did not give me any clothes. So go away from me. And these people, they're going to say, we don't understand. We never saw you on earth. If we had seen you, we would have given you what you needed. And Jesus is going to say, the way that you treated the very least of the people on this earth, that is the way that you treated me. Get out of here. And these ones who were like the sheep, they're going to enter heaven and have eternal rewards. And these ones who were like the goats, they are going to receive eternal punishment, Jesus says.